Podcast. Uh, I'm live with our darling sister, Mrs. Rebecca Okorafor. Please, if you check on the screen, you will see her account number pasted on the screen for your kind gestures. Rebecca was diagnosed 5 years ago, and since then she's received more than 20 sessions of chemotherapy, and the treatment is still ongoing. However, tonight we want to look differently. We want to be able to assist her. We want to be able to guide her. We want to be able to put her in the trajectory of health. So do us a favor by supporting her treatment. Support her course of action, support her determination to regain her health again. Before I go on with talking about this issue, before we talk about lymphedema, before we talk about breast cancer, before we talk about the swollen arms and the swollen face and everything, including what she's been told in the consultation room, I need to talk to you, the general public, about something that is bigger. I need to talk to you about why you got sick in the first place, because nobody told you that part. And until you understand that part, nothing else makes sense. The body was never designed to fail. Your body is the most sophisticated healing machine that has ever existed on this planet. From the moment you were born, it has been working without your permission, without your help, and mostly without your appreciation, without your appreciation to repair, without your appreciation to defend, to renew, and to sustain you. Every night while you sleep, it continues to rebuild your tissue. Every day while you eat, it extracts what you need from the food and it discards what it doesn't need. Every second of every hour, your immune system is running surveillance, identifying threats, neutralizing them, cleaning up the wreckage. This system does not fail randomly. When it breaks down, there is always a reason, and that reason is almost never what you were told. Remember, Rebecca, you told me during the first consultation, I think it was last month, you said that for the 5 years during this treatment, since 2021, you said no doctor has called you to discuss the root cause nor to prescribe a nutritional guide for you. And you have received over 21 sessions of chemotherapy and different types of medications. Can you tell us what kind of treatment you have received in the past 5 years? Yeah, can you talk to us now?
Yes, I'm here, sir. I would say I've had 6 sections of the Red Devils. There's a particular one they call the Red Devils. 6 sections of it. The other ones are different other names, but I cannot really, except I open my, bring up my book to see, their names. But I would say so far, this last one I had is the 21 chemo so far I've had. Their names, I can't really remember their names because they just prescribed for you. For me, this started since 2022 precisely, not 2021. So
All right.
I can't really remember their names, but I know that the first section I've had is what's it called? The Red Devils. 6 sections of it
Of the Red
before other
Devil.
ones started coming. Yes, sir.
and you've been placed under several doses of antibiotics, of painkillers, of
A lot of
anti,
them, a lot.
yeah. Hmm. All right. And since then, from the time of diagnosis up to date, apart from the last time that we met the last month and discussed about your case in the first instance, can you measure the improvement that you have seen in the years of treatment?
Really, I would say there's a lot more difference talking to you alone.
Hello, Rebecca. Have we lost you? I think the network is.
I spoke to you. I was having series of pain
Yeah,
and to explain to me what I needed to hear. Just more like a layman's language, like you were
yeah.
talking to a child that you really needed, to learn something. And I was able to grab and then started doing all what you asked me to do. I would say categorically that the pain has reduced drastically compared to the way it was, a few months ago.
Yeah, and
I
and the wound in
I
your leg.
I I really could not sit like this before because I
Yeah,
usually used to have this pain attached to. I'm not saying that the pain is gone finally,
yeah.
but I would say that for me to sit like this, it's God's grace, and as a result of some of the things you've asked me to start doing and to start changing, especially with my diet and the rest. So yes, there have been a lot drastic change so far.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you so very much, Rebecca. Like I said earlier, Rebecca, we're going to go deep into a comprehensive protocol that not only Rebecca, but anybody who is listening to us and you feel that the treatment you have been using so far appears not to be working, that's where we talk about the root cause, because this is what is not addressed in the mainstream practice. Unfortunately, today nobody looks at the root cause, and I want to paint a picture before we look deep into Rebecca's case and how to conclude her case and jack her back onto the platform of health. What actually makes us sick? Remember, our grandparents, they grew food in living soil. Is that they grew those days. They pecked on the earth, searching for earthworm and for ants. But today, 95% of the chicken we eat are fed grains and antibiotics and hormones so that they can grow fast within 6 weeks. The vegetables that were harvested in those days, we are eating within days. The rivers and streams they fetch from, they ran cleaner. There were fewer chemicals, fewer plastics, fewer pesticides, and almost no ultra-processed food. Then came the chemical age, which is the age where we are in today, where agriculture stopped feeding the soil and starts feeding the crop, where food became a commodity rather than an agent of nourishment, where the factories have learned something dangerous. They have learned how to take the real food and they strip it of everything useful. They add chemicals to your body, chemicals in the food, and these things our body cannot understand. They package it beautifully, they sell it to us as lunch, as dinner, as breakfast. Now consider what happens to the average person every single morning. You wake up and you apply some chemicals on your skin, chemicals in your toothpaste, chemicals in your shampoo, chemicals in your deodorant. You eat preserved foods that are, embalmed with chemicals. You drink water processed with chemicals like chlorine and fluoride. You breathe air in your home physics because you put air freshener that have stick fragrances. And these so-called air fresheners, we've talked about them last week. They don't do bad for your health. They literally steal the oxygen from your blood. Your liver is working from the moment you open your eyes. Your kidneys never stop filtering, working very hard. These were not designed for a constant, but our system have become war. And now today, you notice that that's why the system is not working. That is why disease continues to appear anywhere and everywhere. And that is why our body is exhausted. That was never given a chance to rest. And this is the part that makes us furious. Nobody told you that this was happening. For years, the accumulation, the build-up, the damage, nobody told you. The system have tricked all of us into staying sick. This is a conversation that I have been having for years, and it's a conversation that the system does not want me to have. Do you know that I used to have a very, successful page on Facebook. It was taken down because I continued to share secrets and things that the system does not want us to know. Modern medicine at its best is good, but only for emergency or maybe acute infection. Of course, I have enormous respect for it, and I also use it when I have emergency. But somewhere along the line, something shifted. The system stopped asking, why did you get sick? It now started asking, how do we manage the fact that you are sick? And that shift, it looks little, it looks subtle, but it's a deliberate shift. It's where the scam begins. Let me show you exactly what I mean. If you walk in, for instance, with high blood pressure, your doctor does not say, let's look at your insulin resistance or your chronic stress or your inflammatory diet or your sedentary life. No, your doctor just hands you a tablet, amlodipine, and say you can take it for the rest of your life. You're walking in the hospital with type 2 diabetes. Instead of a conversation about maybe reversing insulin resistance, which is the root of it, talking about diet, talking about movement, things that have been shown in research to actually work. But instead, your doctor hands you metformin or glucophage or insulin to continue to inject yourself. Then when complications arise, more drugs are added to manage the side effects of the drugs that you were initially given. That was a subscription that you never agreed to sign. Let's talk about the statins that are prescribed for cholesterol. No discussion about removing processed oils, about refined sugars or ultra-processed foods from your diet. They just give you a little pill to refuel every month until the day you die. Talk about proton pump inhibitors that are prescribed for people who have acid reflux. You see, why I'm telling these things is so that you know it's not only affecting somebody who has cancer. That's why I try to go broad and mention that that stem stomach acid drug you are given, it will create nutrient deficiency, and that will create new problems, which will require even more prescriptions. You came in with a leaking pipe, and they handed you a bucket forever. This is the case that continue to plague our people. Now, remember, I said earlier, I'm not an enemy of mainstream practice or mainstream medicine. I only stay on the side of people getting well. And that is the pattern that I want us to interrupt, because that pattern is not healing, it is management. Management is a subscription service, it's a lifetime membership that you never asked to join, just like you join a club where you want to profit from, but you are not getting any profit because they continue to manage you not to be too sick to die immediately, but well enough so they can continue on that cascade of medication. The sicker the population stays, the more valuable that the customer, we the humans, become to the medical monopoly. And this is not conspiracy theory, because I see it every day and it behooves on me. I cry when I see it. I've passed through it firsthand, and I see Rebecca pass through it. So, if you are listening under the sound of my voice, please, it's not an accident that you are listening to this program. Something has gone wrong in your body, or maybe in the body of someone that you love. Maybe it's not the lymphedema as it affects our sister here. Maybe it's not swelling, maybe it's not breast, but something have gone wrong and you need to get to the root of it. So we're going to look deep in Rebecca's case and try to reiterate some of the things we mentioned earlier. And with that, she's going to, get tougher. We talk about fighting as a warrior, but fighting intelligently, not throwing away punches that appear not to catch any moss. No, but fighting intelligently. Now, maybe you have been told in the kindest possible way that this is not how it will work. But I'm here to challenge that. Not because I am stupid or reckless, no, but because from my own understanding and practice, from studying several successful doctors, from working with people who are doing research, I have seen what happens. Now, when we stop managing disease and start changing the environment that created it, cancer does not appear overnight. It will go away. Lymphedema does not develop in a vacuum. These conditions are the end result of years, sometimes decades of accumulated signals sent to a body that was trying desperately to cope. So I tell you, Rebecca, your body is trying desperately to cope. And whereas we are ready to support it, whereas we are ready to invest in the discipline, whereas we are ready to get the money to solve the problem, it requires our intelligent approach. It requires our restoring your hormonal disruption. The gut that has been compromised, we need to put it back in place. We need to get rid of the toxins that have overloaded your system. We need to replenish the deficiencies you have nutritionally. We need to get you back to metabolic health. We need to build back your immunity. And these are not mysteries. These are the root causes. And the causes can be addressed. So what we are going to do about it, like I used to say, you don't keep killing the mosquitoes. You need to clean the gutter that breeds them. That is why this program is here. Today, we are going to talk about lymphedema and breast cancer, not as a condition to manage for the rest of your life. For the 5 years you have tried, I think we should be able to get done and dusted with this in the next 2 or 3 months. So that is a signal from your body and is asking for a different environment. So we're going to talk about what actually drives this lymphatic dysfunction, why the immune system loses the control, your connection that is between your gut, your hormones, your toxic burden, the tumor that is growing, the breast cancer, and all these things. So we're going to look deeply into a protocol that will be able to end this. So whether it's not cancer you have, it's a headache, or you have hypertension, or you have, please take your pen and paper and take note of this protocol. And I advise same. Of course, Rebecca, no, as always, I'm going to send you a comprehensive written plan, and you are free to ask questions live as I discuss the plan and even after, because I will be happy as a human and as a practitioner to see that in the next 2 or 3 months that you are hale and completely healthy. That will be my prayer to you. So I tell you, Rebecca, your body is not failing. It is fighting. But it has been fighting for too long without the right resources. Our task is to reduce the incoming burden, to restore the conditions that support, that repair, and that give your body what it always have designed to use. Yeah. before, because I used to say before there were hospitals or laboratories, there was sunlight, there was clean water, there was nourishing food, there was movement, there was rest, there was community, there was purpose, and there was peace. So these are not alternative ideas. They are the foundations upon which life itself was built. So we cannot be wiser than God. You know, yesterday I was chatting with a friend who is a Nigerian here in the UK. I said, in our wisdom as Black Africans, we cut down all the trees and put terrazzo and put fence and put light and put that electric gather that you used to design your compound. You cut down all the trees and you forget there's biodiversity. You forget there's a reason why God created that balance. That is the type of balance that we don't understand, and we falter it and we think we are wise. We're going to try to restore that balance in the body. So right now, we're going to address the root cause, but we're going to address it specifically with hour-to-hour activities that you're going to engage in, starting from when you wake up. So it's like a schedule. Every hour in your day, you have to be sending signals, and these signals will be replacing the signals of stress, the signals of inflammation, the signals of depletion. That's what the kind of signals we're going to be sending to your body going forward is nourishment, repair, and peace. So, Rebecca, if you follow this instruction to the letter, I promise you, in the next 2 months, you will experience a transformation that you never believed possible. And I know that this protocol will cost a little, investment. And I know that you don't have all it takes. But what I advise our listeners, as you can see the account number passing through the screen, if you don't see it clearly, I will also put it in the inbox. And maybe along the line before we conclude, I will have to call the account number. I'll have to call it out so that you can support Rebecca. And I also use this opportunity to make a call. Let me call it out just in case. Rebecca's account number is OPay, Rebecca Okorafor, 7068 237730. I'll repeat it again, and I'll put it in the comment section, and I'll have you scroll to the bottom of the screen just for everybody to know. To support Rebecca in this treatment, 7068 237730. That is OPay. Once you put OPay, Rebecca Okorafor, it will appear. Please do well to support her. I will, as always, I will support her as well with everything that I can use to support her. Now, when you wake up in the morning, maybe between 5:30 and 6 a.m., Rebecca, what I want you to do is what I call the waking and breathing. It's the first moments of the day. That is when you set the chemistry for everything that follows. When you wake up in the morning, sit up upright in the bed before you stand up, because this will protect circulation. It will prevent dizziness. Just do a gratitude prayer for 5 minutes. Remember, a moving mind towards peace will reduce cortisol. Why you do a gratitude? I'm happy that you are a Christian. I'm happy that you believe in God. I'm happy that you pray, because I think the other time you told me about joining an online program. I'm happy you do all those. Well, it's not because I want us to, cast all our faith to God alone. God has the capacity to heal. We're going to do our part, because it is said that heaven helps those who help themselves. But there is a kind of peace I want us to dwell in by saying that gratitude prayer to God. Not because everything is completely perfect for you, but you're saying the gratitude prayer just for the purpose that God have kept you alive, and he has something destined that you're going to fulfill. And again, because you have a beautiful daughter, okay? So please do well to do that when you wake up in the morning. Then the next thing you do is what I call the deep breathing. Deep breathing. You inhale through your nose for 4 seconds and you exhale slowly for 6 to 8 seconds. So it will take you longer time to exhale than it took you to inhale. You can repeat that for 5 to 10 times. You are setting the pace for the chemistry change in the day. So the second thing I want you to do, the second thing, the reason why you have to do that deep breathing, I talked about the lymphatic fluid. Remember, it has no pump of its own. It moves through breath, through movement. Okay? So when you wake up in the morning and have a deep breathing, is one powerful tool that will reduce lymphatic congestion, it will improve oxygenation, and it will calm down the nervous system even before your day begins. Now, when it's 6 a.m., that's when we start what I call the morning hydration. 500 milliliter of water, warm water preferably. Just add a half bulb of lemon or lime to it and a pinch of mineral-rich sea salt. Remember that once anybody gets to the hospital, what they want to do first is to put you on drip. You know that drip, they call it normal saline. So it's important we begin to, add this electrolyte to the body as early as 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning. It is very wonderful. So remember, Rebecca, you will no longer drink plain water. That's why I said it's going to be expensive for you to pass through this protocol. However, I can tell you that in the next 2 months, there will be a drastic transformation in your life. So no more plain water throughout this program. Instead, I want you to take fluids that will be delivered almost entirely through fresh fruits and vegetable juices. This will carry water alongside minerals, enzymes, nutrients, and this is exactly what the body needs. Because when you even lose water, when you go to pee, you don't pee water. When you sweat, you don't sweat water. If you test your sweat, it's salty, it's mineral. So when I say you add these things, it's because I said the blood of plant is similitude to the blood of man. So when you drink these freshly squeezed juices, I'm not talking about the sugary ones. I'm not talking about mango juice or pineapple juice. I'm going to, of course, give you a list of the vegetables that you need to juice and drink. So, but when you do them, please remember you are adding electrolytes to your cells. You are jacking your cells up. By 7 a.m., that's when you take what I call the first green juice. And that green juice is cucumber, and I want it peeled. So it's going to take a little while for you to do that. If you have somebody who can assist you, wonderful. You can buy a simple peeler, it's less than 1,000 naira, and use it and peel cucumber. The reason is because the cucumber peel will interfere with absorption of these wonderful electrolytes. You can add a pumpkin leaf, you can add celery, water leaf, you can add some aloe vera gel and some ginger. And most importantly, in that juice, you can add moringa. So you can chuck all these things in a blender and add some clean water and blend and strain and save the pulp because that pulp will serve as part of your fufu. I've shared that before. Now, the purpose is because the minerals, the chlorophyll, they are blood building. They will support your lymph. They will hydrate you. You know, moringa, when you add it specifically, moringa has more than 90 nutrients that your body needs. So if somebody wants to visit you, they should not buy bread or meat pie or coke for you. Tell them to buy you vegetables, to buy you moringa. Okay? Anybody wants to visit you, to support you or to do anything, let them buy you these things. Okay? Now, by 7:30 a.m., that's when you can take your morning supplements. And that is where glucose, iodine comes in. It's been found in 99% of cancer patients that they are deficient in iodine. And unfortunately, today you notice that we used to have iodines added in our meals until they are now stripped off of the meals and you just adding having bromine in bread and what have you. Iodine should have saved the nutrition that we are taking instead of what is being added today. So iodine there is for thyroid and for immune support. Now, this for digestion and for anti-tumor activities, for enriching your body with electrolytes and what have you, you will have to add vitamin D3 and K2. Why I talk about K2 is a cofactor that will enhance the absorption, appropriation, and use of the body of vitamin D3. And if you do well to go under the sun, you will get these things for free. And there's a reason why God put the sun there. I was sharing again with a patient here in the UK 2 days ago. I said, the reason why God planted us as Black people in Africa and put up, if you notice that the sun is harsher in Africa than it is in the Western world. And the Western world is littered with Caucasians. Caucasians are white people. They have very low melanin. But we, as Blacks, are melanated beings. We need more of the sun. And the reason why God did it is because as dark people, we need that intensity of sun to be able to ferment a sufficient amount of vitamin D so that it will continue to rebuild our immunity. And here in the Western world, you notice that when people used to catch the flu, it's in the cold season. Why? Because the sun does not used to come out harshly during the cold season. So you notice in the winter, COVID-19 killed more people in the winter. In fact, more people die during the winter than die during the summer. This is a striking example of why the sun is beneficial to enjoy. Again, Rebecca, you need zinc, especially for wound healing and for immune function. And I've talked to you sometime about adding some nuts to your guacamole, which you use avocado to make. Some nuts like pistachio, walnut, especially Brazil nut, is loaded with lots and lots of zinc and selenium. Selenium will offer you the antioxidant defense, and it will also support the activities of your thyroid. Again, you need omega-3. Omega-3 is anti-inflammatory, for cardiac support, for your lymphatic drainage system, and it is very, very important. So these are the supplements that you need. I know that probably you would have bought some, but if by God's grace we're able to raise some more money, you will need to buy all of them. So remember, I'm going to send you a comprehensive list of all these things so that you won't miss anything. By 8 a.m., that's when you can take your breakfast. And remember, I talked about protein to continue to rebuild because protein is called bodybuilding food. So you are allowed to take 2 or 3 eggs. If you can find local eggs, please, they are wonderful. If you can find quail eggs, they are wonderful. If you can find duck eggs, most of the eggs are wonderful. Okay. The only challenge I have with the grain-fed birds that we go to buy their eggs is because they are grain-fed, so they are filled with a lot of linoleic acid. So again, for your breakfast, you can add avocado. Even if it's half of an avocado, it is wonderful. If you can add steamed vegetables, you can get a little portion of sardine or uh, uh, any colored fish. You know, sometimes I talked about the anthocyanins that are found in colored fish like the krill. You know, if you can find them, you can add them to your breakfast. And again, what is very important and very affordable, I used to prescribe, I call it a death chip protocol, a death chip source of protein is the bone broth. And bone broth, if you go to where they are cutting nama. You go to the butchery. When you get there, they can give you bones, because some people, they want to just cut off all the meat, all the flesh, and throw away the bones because they don't have the time to do it at home. So those bones, you can get it for free, or you can pay a little token to have them. The idea is when you cook the bone for 6 hours, what you make is called bone broth. And bone broth is rich in antioxidants, it's rich in omega-3, it's rich in uh, good building cholesterol food that will support your health. So bone broth is indispensable and is cheap for you. Now, what I say, when you cook bone broth, towards the end of the 6 to 10 hours that you are cooking it, you can add your pepper soup spice, local ones. Okay, you can add um, what is this pepper? You can add cayenne pepper. You can add all the local spice. So when you drink it, it will it will be palatable. You can't just cook only bone alone and be drinking. Okay, you can add local spice so it will taste like pepper soup, but not Maggi. Okay. Remember, like I said, our aim is not to fast you. Of course, there are some patients that will need fasting, but because of a depletion of your normal reserves and because of the wound healing, we need protein, because I know that some of your natural resources have been depleted. So your body will need these building materials now. So there's no restriction for you. That's why we are looking at high nutrient dense foods that will as well mimic a fasting environment. So it will reduce glucose supply. So if you notice, since I'm calling out what you're going to use, I do not go to carbs because I want that healing to happen. I want the perfection of the healing. The first time I saw your neck, I couldn't, I had to view it several times to be sure, is this person still alive? Just that you did it as a video, okay? But thank God that now it is sealing up. So we need repair. That's why I mentioned we need eggs, we need fish, avocado, bone broth. All these things will deliver complete amino acids for albumin and for immune cells, for they have healthy fats, and they have a good iron, good vitamin B12. Remember, because if I only focused on vegetables alone, then we may be lacking sufficient vitamin B12 for blood building, and we may be lacking the zinc for wound repair. So that's why I'm justifying the reason why I'm mentioning all these things. Now, by 8:30 a.m., that's when you take your second juice. I call it the anti-inflammatory support juice. You have the carrot, the beetroot, and the green juice. The carrot, you can take 2 or 3. The beetroot, you can take a small piece. You can take half an apple just to make it palatable. You can add celery. Celery will help to purify the blood. You can add some ginger, and you can add turmeric. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory because that curcumin is powerful and is contained in the turmeric. Another thing you can add, if you find, is what I call the boswellia. Boswellia is a herb, and I have sent a couple of it back to Nigeria. But if we can't find it, then I have to buy it from here. Why I said beetroot should be added specifically for you, Rebecca, is to support hemoglobin production and to improve oxygen delivery. That's why we're going to add beetroot. So you have the boswellia, curcumin, and beetroot. All these things will work together as powerful anti-inflammatory agents, and they are particularly relevant because of the lymphedema, the swelling, and the wound that you have on your hand. Okay, if we purify the blood, the wounds heal faster. By 9 a.m., you can do wound care. That's when you take a look again at your hand and your neck. You clean the wound. Remember, you clean with warm, sterile, saline solution. Okay, no scrubbing, no harsh scrubbing, and also avoid harsh antiseptics. Okay, avoid using them, especially repeatedly, because they would damage the healing tissues. No herbal paste for now that you place directly on the open wound so that you avoid infection. This is the same thing I told the patients a few weeks ago, to be careful, because you can be doing the right thing, but unfortunately, your wound can get infected. And that is when sepsis comes in. And that is when it becomes an emergency. So we want you to apply these things to the letter. Okay? When you are dressing, non-adherent primary dressing, it will protect granulating tissues. If you use absorbent secondary dressing, you can manage the drainage, assuming you have a wound that is draining. Okay? Some people also use activated charcoal dressing, but that is when there is so much odor. So what you do for me, whenever you check the wound on your body in your hand, you check for odor, check if it's improving, check for discharge, check the volume, check the color, check for pain, all right? By just having a little feel of it, check for bleeding if it is present. These things are important to always report, okay? And whenever you notice that you have fever, and when you check your temperature and it's above 38 degrees, please, it is an emergency. Consider it as such, at least for now. Continue to rehydrate until it's time to get to the hospital. When you notice increasing redness or swelling around the wound, when you notice pus that is smelling, when you notice uncontrolled bleeding, or when you just notice sudden increase in pain, when that kind of infection happens, like when somebody mistakenly gets punctured, the leg smashes a nail or something, when that pain increases, that's when they say, this thing has tetanus. The person needs to go to the hospital for as an emergency. That's what I call the sudden increase in pain. Okay, is a sign that the infection is spreading. And the pain is a signal that your body is giving you to alert you that something is wrong. Now, the wound, like I said, will always be supervised. So when you notice anything different, please do let me know. So this plan will support healing, and it will also support the management of the wound. By 9:30 a.m., very important, this is when I want us to start the gut healing in you. Please, one thing that I want us to buy, I didn't mention the other time, is L-glutamine. L-glutamine will repair your intestinal linings. It will support your immune. The health of the body starts in the gut. So it will help to support your immune cells that are in the gut. And again, I do not use to prescribe probiotics. But if you can find, how you know a good probiotic is if you can find the one that is refrigerated. Okay, just the way they make yogurt and they put it um in the in the fridge. If you don't put it there, it will continue to ferment and ferment, and over time it will be overrun by yeast and fungi. So most of the so-called probiotic that come in dried form, you buy as capsules, sitting in the shelf of the pharmacy for decades. I don't trust all of them 100%. I know there's freeze drying that can be used, but I don't trust them. Okay, so that's why I chose to use probiotics that have live cultures in them. And that is where we now start talking of fermented ones that are refrigerated. Some of the brands that we use here in the UK, I'm not sure you'll find them in Nigeria. So if you look and search for any different brand, just take a snapshot of it, especially the nutrition fact label, and send it to me so that I can go through it. Yesterday, you saw on the group chat a patient that shared a testimony of how she cured her cancer with ogiri. You saw it. This is not doctored. I don't know the patient. She just shared how she cured her cancer with ogiri. I know that she may not understand how it worked, but I want to explain. What happened was the gut microbiome restoration. And that restoration was what revved up the immune cells, especially the NK cells. The NK cells are cells that target cancer and destroy cancer. So, Ogiri, I shared again last week on about a research on Ewingella americana. Ewingella americana is extracted from amphibians. Amphibian is a toad. The research is going on that those Ewingella americana, when you inject them in tumor cells, they eat up those cells 99% within 2 weeks. In fact, when I saw that, I did further search on ChatGPT, and I found a similar microbes that can be used to reproduce the same result. One of them is Clostridium, the other one is Salmonella, and the other one is Bifidobacterium, and the last one is Listeria. In fact, there's one that I say I used to send. Unfortunately, ChatGPT did not even recommend that one. But I've had so much testimony of that one, and I have continued to send it. As I talk to you now, Rebecca, I have some of it coming to Nigeria, and one will get to you. The idea is so that you begin to ferment your own yogurt. The idea is to restore the gut microbiome, restore your immunity, rebuild your NK cells, fight cancer, and win. All right. So until we're able to start making those ones, because I know one day will be, because me, I'm interested in that research, and I'm keeping tab, I'm following the page to see the progress they are making. Once I see anything meaningful, I'll be the first to bring it to Nigeria, because I'm interested in the health of my people. Okay. So until we're able to do that, please continue to make your own yogurt. And I encourage you, make unsweetened. Don't add any sweetener, any flavor, or anything on it. You can make yogurt, you can make kefir, you can make sauerkraut. Do you remember sauerkraut? And you can also make kimchi. Sauerkraut is when you chop your vegetables, your cabbage especially, and you put it in a glass jar, cover it with water, and add 1 or 2 spoons of ACV, apple cider vinegar. When you cover it for 3 days, it turns to sauerkraut. I have a patient who was in Nigeria, and one senior nurse, I won't mention name, she also produced her own sauerkraut. And what happened 2 days ago, she called me and said, doctor, I cannot drink this, the woman was so funny. So I told her, okay, you can add the orange juice in the sauerkraut. She said, she thought, and she said something, that made me to laugh and throw away my phone. She said, okay, when I make another one. So I said, so that means this one you made now, what you have, she said she has poured it away. So when we share all this, it's not because it's easy, Rebecca. I hope you understand. It's not. I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
easy to make something fermented and drink. Even me that is telling
it's
you,
not
I
easy.
drink with one corner of my mouth. I don't want it to pass through my tongue. So I will not. You understand? So it's not easy. You might say when she make another one, and I know she may not make another one. And that's they encouraging her. Yes, you can eat your fermented cabbage with carrot. You can eat it with cucumber. You can mix it with salad, so that you will not, feel the taste. But at least those organisms will get into your gut and help for the rebuilding. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Mm.
But when you are finally okay, you will say you will appreciate the process. Okay. So at least, please try to, if it's ogiri and opaka, always make ogiri and opaka, even if it's 3 times in a week. If you cannot make yogurt, ogiri and opaka, at least we saw the woman who came out to testify. She was not lobbied to do so. Why I know, how you know somebody is not lobbied to do something is he's not getting paid. Assuming he's talking about a medication or a supplement, somebody is paying him or her. But she's coming to tell you, Giriando Baka, she doesn't have any exclusive right to Giriando Baka. And that's why I believe her. And because I understand that the gut is where immunity begins. Okay.
Mm,
We are already fast
mm,
spent on our time, although we started 10 minutes late. But remember, Rebecca, the lymphatic system, your gut, these things are directly connected. So every beneficial microbe will restore your gut health and restore your immunity. And they will continue to signal outward through your entire body. Now, let's rush to it. By 10 a.m., that's when you take the third juice. I call it a metabolic support, and it's a green juice. Okay? When you take the juice, I've mentioned it before when I talked about the cucumber and what have you, the pumpkin leaf, So when you take it, please, another supplement you need is the berberine. Berberine will improve your insulin sensitivity. It's anti-inflammatory in nature. Berberine is one thing that can crush diabetes once and for all. In fact, if I have my way, I will give it to every diabetic and end that menace. If I have my way, if it is possible. Okay? So I encourage you to use it. Remember, I made a promise. I said, within now and 2 months' time, you will look for those maladies on your body. You will not see them, but you must have to stay focused and continue on this path of health and healing. And like I said, I know it will cost a little bit, but that's why we want to support you to be able to do that and become a testimonial. Okay? So again, like I said, the purpose of the berberine is to reduce your glucose availability to the tumors. Because I keep saying that cancer feeds on sugar. So when you cut out the foil by using berberine, you would have solved that problem of fueling them. By 11, you can do gentle movement and lymphatic care. And that is when I encourage sun exposure. If you come out to the sun 10, 15, or 20 minutes, depending on how long you feel you can tolerate, all right? You can do some brisk walking, if you can do skipping, if you can do anything you can do to move your body. But most important, do it on a bare earth. When I say bare earth, it's because I encourage grounding. When you ground and take the sun exposure, you are removing negative energies from the body. You are putting in protons, positive energies into the body. And these things will bring healing. These things will bring healing. Remember, that was the reason why the other time I was encouraging that if you have cancer, start having a garden, even if it's half a plot of land. Start gardening. When you go there, do gardening, do barefooted, so you can take advantage of releasing negative energies to the earth. All right, and then do it especially when the morning sun comes out, so you can have a double benefit. You are enjoying the inflow of vitamin D, and you are removing negative energy at the same time. And possibly, if you have the power to skip or to use a trampoline or just to move your body, okay? Because like I said, lymphatic drainage system does not have a pump, just like the blood have a pump to pump the heart, to pump the blood. The lymphatic drainage system only relies on movement. So if you move, then your muscle will contract, your breathe, your by elevation, that is gravity, you are assisting the lymphatic drainage system. Okay, even if you're able to do that in a day, it will solve a lot of problems for you. Well, by 12 o'clock, I encourage you to take another juice. Our target in a day is between 10 and 13 glasses of juice, no water. If you do that in 2 months, if you don't see change, remarkable change, please come back anywhere on the social media and say that, yeah, Dr. Kakaka don't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. But what I want us to do first is to support you enough so you can have the funds to do this, because I know it's not easy to be taking green juice. Okay, it costs money to always buy these vegetables. So I encourage all my listeners and followers to support you um, in this uh, change of lifestyle. So by 12 p.m., that's when you take the carrot, apple, and the green juice. You can add the MCP. MCP is a modified citrus pectin. Now, because of years of taking medication, like you rightly mentioned, even the red devil, all these things you called the chemotherapy, these things will leave residues in your body. The modified citrus pectin will go a long way in bulking out all the residues of medications, all the metabolic waste, remains of toxins in the body. It will bulk it out and get rid of them. If you can't find modified citrus pectin, I recommend zeolite. Zeolite, again, we even do, I say zeolite is 10 over 10. Zeolite appears to be the best, coming direct from the earth, part of the fulvic acid group. Another one is the bentonite clay. And the last and least amongst them is the activated charcoal. It's better you use at least activated charcoal if you can't find any of those things in Nigeria. Okay? But they will help in not only bulking out, it reduce the metastatic activity, it will support immune surveillance, because at least when you free up, just like when we talk about um, insecurity in Nigeria, assuming that it's only in a particular state that there is this insecurity, the number of policemen we have or soldiers we have will be able to cover it. So when you reduce the toxic burden, you will improve the activities of the immune system. But when you have a lot of things from here and there, causing havoc in the body, the immune system becomes overwhelmed. So when you use these things, they will bind all the toxins, all the residues of medications, all the metabolic waste that are locked here and there, and get rid of them from your body so your immune system can have space to act. By 1 p.m., that's when you have your lunch. And that is where I talk about the super fufu. All those vegetable pulp that you have been juicing, this is time to mold them and use them as your fufu. You can thicken them with psyllium husk or with oat flour. Because we are running out of time, please, I try to be fast. So you can eat it with your okra soup, with your vegetable soup, with your bitter leaf soup, with your egusi soup. These things are not ordinary prescription. It's not until I tell you about a red devil before you take it serious. So it's not ordinary. It appears to, but remember, the more fiber that you take, the more you bulk out the residues of metabolism of medication from your system. And most especially, the more you supply nutrients. And now I'm recommending a lot of things. So I'm not only focusing on only um, uh, uh, just the juices or the supplement. I'm recommending a lot of things to go into both the juice pulp, to go into the fufu that you are going to make. Okay? So please do well for me. Avoid sugar, avoid sugary drinks. Do well for me, please. Avoid soft drinks, avoid energy drinks. Avoid bread, avoid biscuit. And you told me the other time that you like chocolate a lot. Is it true? You used to like chocolate. And I told you there's even white chocolate. Those things are, yeah, you told me. So I said there are even white one that, yeah, if I send you, you know, the ones you are loving before, you're not loving them enough. However, we need to get rid of those things for now until we achieve our healing. All those deep fried foods, all those vegetable oils, ultra processed anything, get rid of them. Okay. It's important we do that so that we don't continue to add evil to the body, assault to the body. We need to get rid
Yeah.
of all those things. So What again we do by 3 p.m. is where I come in with the mistuto. If you can find mistuto as a herb, I am looking at importing what is called the mistuto injection. I've written to the company in America, but they have not replied me. I've even sent a second inquiry. I am thinking that maybe the email I used was the wrong email. So I'm looking to get this mistuto injection. It's called the Iscador, or it's called the Helixor. These are the companies that make it, only two companies. All right. So if we have them, we'll be able to use them. But if we can't get them, of course, we proceed. We are going to still get our healing. We need to introduce medicinal mushrooms. And that is where I used to say if we can buy combo, mushroom combo. If you know this GNLD and Forever Living product, they sell these things
Mm.
differently, like the Kedi. They sell Reishi, they sell Shaitek, they sell Mytake. But here, I have a combo that contains everything. And turkey tail has a reputation of taking and getting rid of tumors. Okay, so if you can find mushroom combo, you can buy as a supplement. Okay, because of time, we are. I don't. I just want us to, conclude. So let us talk about your sleep because it's important. I don't know how much hours you get from sleep. I don't know how much hours you get from sleep in a day, but to support your sleep, that was why I recommended magnesium glycinate. Okay. Because it will help in muscle relaxation, it will help in improving your sleep quality. Sleep has so much to do with health. Okay, so I don't joke with sleep. That's why I will have you to even have chamomile to just improve your sleep. Okay, I have what I call the winding down protocol for sleeping, where 1 or 2 hours before you sleep, you put your phone away, no scrolling of phone, so that you don't get stimulated emotionally. Okay, 60 minutes before you go to bed, you stop all arguments, stop all kinds of work, just go and lay in bed. In fact, 3 hours before you go to bed, stop all food. Why? So that you have digestion happen before you go to bed. You don't want your stomach to be working when you think you are sleeping. Okay. The same again goes to drinking water. Do you know there are some people that come and say they don't sleep in the night very well? I say why? Because they go to wee in the toilet. I say stop drinking water from 6 p.m. and you will improve your sleep. So that when you drink the last water by 6 p.m., if that water passes through and gets to your bladder, you can pee it by 10 or by 9, and then you go to bed by 10, and it won't wake you up again because you have emptied your bladder, except maybe you have prostate issue where maybe you have a need to use a catheter. I don't care. The most important thing is to improve sleep because that is when the bulk of healing happens. So 30 minutes before you finally sleep, what you do for me, dim your lights or cut your lights off. Your body is sensitive. When the light is on, it will be thinking it's morning. I know in your subconscious, you know it's night, but your body is thinking it's morning. So that's why I try to put the lights off. Okay, and make the room well ventilated. If it is cold, cover your body properly, but leave the windows open to allow fresh air to come in. If you are afraid because you are living in a mosquito infested area, use a mosquito net. These are simple things, but they are powerful. Okay, 20 minutes before you go to bed and sleep, do some slow stretch. Breathe deeply, because when you do that, you will release toxins from your body. Okay, 10 minutes before you go to bed, 10 minutes before you go to bed, do one last thing. Write all your worries, because I know when you go to bed you start thinking, oh, you didn't do this, oh, you're supposed to do this, oh, you have appointment with this, oh, you have. Please take a pen and a paper, write them down, because once you write them down, you can now rest. All right. In 4 seconds, hold your breath. When you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold your breath, then breathe out between 6 and 8 seconds. You can continue doing it until sleep will take you. Remember, sleep is not forced. It is only invited by safety. It's invited by darkness. It's invited by a calm environment. And it's invited when you make it a routine. Okay? So you target 8 to 9 hours of unbroken sleep. If you do these things in the next 2 months, if you don't see remarkable change, if the swelling in your face, now as regards to the swelling in your face, we're going to use hyperthermia. Because of time, I'm in a hurry because we're almost 20 minutes more than the scheduled time. Because of this swelling, there's what we used to do. We say it is steam inhalation, where you put in some lemongrass and some neem inside a boiling water. So one other investment you need to make is to buy a low level stove so that you can get this neem and get this lemon grass, chop them, add in that pot of boiling water. As it's boiling, cover yourself and breathe in. If I tell you not to buy sauna, a sauna costs a minimum of about $1,000. It will not be easy for us to achieve. So I'm looking at an alternative for us to introduce heat in the body, especially in the face, and boost circulation. Circulation means as blood continues to flow, it is taking out all the tumor markers, all the inflammatory markers, all those things that have grown and swollen up on your face is taking everything out. The more circulation, the more you go. Believe me, if you do steam inhalation 3 times in a day, this swollen face will come back again in 2 weeks and check. You will look for this swollen face and you will not see it. So don't carry it and think it's not possible to get rid of it. It's possible. We make it an aggressive and intelligent approach. Steam inhalation, do it 3 times. If you have the power, do it 4, 5, or 6 times in a day. There is no side effect, but you are improving circulation in your. I'm not saying you should burn yourself with hot water. I say you are inhaling the steam, and the steam is improving circulation. You understand me? You will notice that the more you do it, of course, it's not easy. You feel like, because you're going to be sweating so profusely, that shows that there is an increase in metabolism in your body. There's an improvement in circulation in your body. So if you do that in the next 2 weeks, your swollen face, you go down. You have a beautiful face. So let's get it beautiful again in 2 weeks. I beg you. Again, for the last time, I ask my listeners to support Rebecca Okorafor, and her account is OPay 7068 237730. So if you do that, do well to drop your sleep on the group, or you can send it to me, and God will bless you. Bless Rebecca. Our time is fast spent. I'm sorry, but this is because it's important. I just had to continue to push. All right. I will try to write down everything for you so that it's easy for you to have everything and work by it. Because we have a target that we're coming back again in the next 2 months to do an appraisal and to thank God for the healing that He will give us as we proceed. I don't know if you have any question to ask in the next 5 minutes, or you have anything to say to, to the audience.
I just wanted to ask
Yeah,
the you were talking about how to detox and especially
okay.
the lymphedemic. Well, you
Yeah,
putting legs in hot water where you have sea
yeah,
salt. Is it also good?
yeah.
Does it help?
Well,
That's what I want to know.
either
Does
sea
it
salt
help?
or Epsom or Epsom salt. Yes, it's also good.
Yeah, Epsom.
And well, usually where we use it is when you have the where the limbs are a bit inflamed. Okay, if the limbs are a bit inflamed, that means that circulation is inconclusive. It doesn't go around that it's supposed to. So we put our legs in water, add some Epsom salt, or wear what I call a compression socks so that it will improve blood circulation. And if you do that, within maybe a few days, you will notice the swelling. Swelling we do that is to improve circulation. There are some people that say that they have some kind of chemicals they add in it and plug it in electricity that it will generate electricity. And I wouldn't say those things do not work, but you can give it a try. I don't think there's a side effect to it. Anything that we can do, and in our good thinking, we know that it won't harm the body. We know that it won't interfere with the normal workings of the body. We do it. Like when I talk about steam inhalation, because I know there's no side effect from doing it. People pay money to go for sauna. If you watch all those Italian movies, you see when they wrap white towel and go in sauna, they pay heavily to do that, and we are thinking it's only meant out for the rich. But now I have told you, you can use that regular neem and lemongrass to simulate your own sauna without paying thousands of dollars like they do. Okay. So any natural thing you can do to support yourself, you can massage. Okay. You can massage. The more you massage, the more you improve circulation. You can apply poke root infused castor oil on the swelling on your face. The more you do it, the more, if you want to double the effect, when you want to go to bed, you can buy hot water bottle. Hot water bottle, I'll send you a sample of how it looks. So you can pour hot water in it. When you apply poke root infused castor oil on that area on your face, you can place your head on the hot water bottle. Some women, when they're having dysmenorrhea, that is painful menstruation, they use hot water bottle to put on their womb. They don't know what they are doing is to improve circulation, because when blood passes, it will take out all the painful markers, all the things that cause pain. The more blood circulates, you understand me, the more it takes these things out. So I encourage you to do it, because in the next 2 weeks, I don't want to see your face swollen again. But I thank you again for being live, because already the 5 minutes is gone. And I want to thank each and every one of us, although I didn't join on the Zoom, okay, but I believe that Rebecca, do you know I didn't join on the Zoom? Oh, God. So how will the people on the Zoom, who are they going to listen? I just remembered now that I didn't join on the Zoom. Oh,
Oh,
terrible. All right. So what we do, I know that some of them joined on Facebook. I'm seeing even on TikTok alone, I see that we have more than 1,000 views on TikTok. All right. I don't know about Facebook because you can't see it from here. Because we are streaming from Stream, we are live on Instagram, we are live on YouTube, and we are live on Facebook. I don't know how many people are viewing, but I'm sure that people are viewing. And it's okay. So thank you again, Rebecca.
thank you so much.
The people have your account number, they will support you, and I will send you all the details. And as well as always, I'm going to put in my own personal support tonight. Okay. Thank you again for coming on live. We hope for the testimony starting from the coming 2 weeks. Okay. Have a wonderful night rest.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
sir.
So now I'm logging
Thank
out now.
you.
Yeah. No, logging out now. Yes. So